most of the times what happens is when we have this kind of when we used to have fill in the blanks earlier, we used to have them in science, geography, history. What we had with it, what we had already was background data with it. But when we are attempting them for the first time in entrance exams, what happens is that we have no extra background data that is being given to us. What we have to make do is all the data that is given in the blank itself. All right. So our word choice is dependent on a lot of things. Now, what happens is when we choose a particular option, there are things that affect the word choice. First of them being grammar, the second one of them being the meaning, as in what kind of vocabulary is used. The third one is the context, and the last one is the collocation. All right. When we, if let's quickly just go through them in detail and understand what each one of them means. The first one is meaning. Now here it says that is it the right word or has the right vocabulary been used? A lot of times we do words and synonyms related to it, but it does not mean that each word will fit into the blank that is given to us. Okay. Like for instance, the example that has been used here is they're talking of an extremely dash idea paves way for greater things. Now, when we are talking of an idea, it has to be something creative, inspired, genius, or talented. Now, in the first go itself, you will be able to chuck out genius and talented. And if it is an idea, it is an inspiration in itself. So it cannot be inspired. So the word that fits there, despite of all of them being synonymous or similar sounding words, is creative. All right, let's go on to what the next word is, or what the next thing is. The grammar. Yes, is the correct grammar being used? Now you can see that there is something given there in a blue font. Now, when I say Vani wore a cap, it is just to remind you guys of what parts of speech is, or just a quick recollection of it. Now, V for Vani, V in the Vani stands for verb, A stands for adjective, N stands for noun, and I stands for interjection. C in the cap stands for conjunction, A stands for adjective, P stands for preposition, and the other P stands for pronoun. Now, this was just done in order to help you remember the parts of speech. Let's quickly recollect what parts of speech are and what is their basic function. Now, verb is your action word. Your adjective is your description word or your describing word. Noun is your name of the person, place, thing, whatever. And I is the interjection. Now, when I say an interjection, we have a little bit of confusion where when we talk about interjections. So interjection is basically your some kind of emotion which is suddenly interjected into your speech. Say, for example, you're sitting and talking to somebody and an ant bites you. So you say ouch. So what is the ouch? The ouch is your interjection. When we are talking of conjunction, now that is a word that joins or junks. Conjunction means a word that is a joiner. Okay. Let's see the other word. It says adverb. Now, something added on to the verb would be an adverb. As if, as say, for instance, he is walking. Walking how? Slowly. So, slowly is your adverb. Okay. The next one is preposition. Of course, it shows the position of the object, like over, under, above, below, and things like that. Two, the last one is pronoun, which is used in place of a noun. Now, first time I'll use the word, I'll use a name, as in a specific name, and the later half I use he or she or it for in place of that name. All right. So this is easy. This was just a quick recollection of what these parts of speech are. Now here in the blank given below, used as an example, you can see very clearly what is given there is the word creative and its four forms. The first word is the noun form of creative, which is creativity. The second form is the adjective form of creative, which is creative person. That's how you can use it. The third is the verb form, which means to create something. That's how it can be used. And the last word is creatively, which is the adverb. Usually you will notice that your adverbs are associated with ly. Now, creatively describing that particular action would be how it is used. Now, why this is given there is because when you're using this word is given in 4 different forms. But what you have to do as a student is, or what is the challenge is for you, that you know which is the correct form to be used. Now, here, his dash paved way for greater ideas is the verb form that is going to be used. So, your answer should be his creativity paved way for greater ideas. So, that's what you have to understand and try and use the right form of the verb. All right. Also, this is also a clue giving thing, because what happens is there might be just the verb form of it given. So then you know that if it is just the verb form of the word that is given there, you can chuck that out as an option. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Yes, now co-location. When I say co-location, you will realize that a lot of verbs form sentences when they are in a particular format. All right. So what happens is that a verb is combined usually with a noun. So it could be achieve goals. That's how it is used. Typically, it would be your verb and adverb pair. All right. Adjective and noun, a brief introduction. A red suitcase, your adverb with a verb. Of course, sometimes your verb and adverbs are interchangeable, as if swiftly walking or walking swiftly. All right. Or critically evaluate critically. That's how it can be used. Your last combination is a noun and noun. All right. So let's go to the next one and understand what is being talked of. Now, here the example says higher dash abilities can pave way for greater things. Now, I would like to point out here that when you read this option, what happens most of the time is that we, having a limited vocabulary, what we tend to do is we tend to eliminate the options which do not fit into our vocab list. All right. Say, for example, when I say the word inventive, yes, I know the meanings: to bring up something new. Original, again, a thing that is introduced for the first time. Productive, something that can be multiplied. And cognitive, I think that is not a commonly used word, so this does not fit into our vocab list. And what happens is we immediately chuck this out as an option. This is where we subconsciously make a mistake. Now, here, when we are talking of vocabulary, vocabulary is not only necessary when you're doing your fill in the blanks, it is also very necessary when you're doing questions of synonyms and antonyms. Other than that, your vocabulary is of utmost important when you're attempting your reading comprehensions also. All right. Yeah, maybe that it helps you sometimes when you are able to understand the contextual meaning of the word and try and comprehend it and then use it. It can help you at times, but at times it might leave you at a crux. All right. So it's always helpful if you know a couple of words of vocabulary. We at Creative Edge also um, we've also been uploading a couple of files related to vocab building, and you can access them through your portal too. All right. Let's go on to the next part. Yes. So the answer for this would be cognitive. All right. Why would that be? Because when we say abilities, your abilities cannot be inventive or original, right? It cannot be higher productive. All right. So that's the reason why cognitive fits there best. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. Yes, it says context. Now, is the context political, scientific, social, historical, mythological, or what? Okay. Now, here, when you're reading this sentence, which is given to you as an example, you will be very clearly able to decipher what is being talked of. Now, in the first blank, when you're able to zero down to one option, what helps you is that you have already shortlisted some options for the second blank. All right, let's quickly solve it together. Now, what context is it talking of? It's talking of an environmental social context. All right. Now, earlier homemade rafts dumped their waste into the water untreated. Was the water untreated? That cannot be used. Artfully, now if you see the context that is being used there has to be negative, not a positive word, which is why artfully would be an option that you would be able to eliminate in the first go. Okay. The third option says openly, and the last option says flagrantly. Yeah, there might be some of you who might be able to eliminate the fourth option based on, I don't know the meaning of this, so this cannot be the answer. But this is where we commit a blunder. Flagrantly, in general, means shamelessly being open about a particular thing or being brash and open about something. All right. So now you would be like that, yes, this fits better than all the other options. But still, let us quickly try and fit the other option, the other blank as well. All right. So, first, our second option, artfully, would definitely be a no go. Uh, we can still zero down to option A, C, and D. All right. But let's see what the second blank says. It says, but by June, the dash rafts were mostly gone, banned under new state law. Now, there is a mention of homemade rafts in the first half of the sentence. Now, this is your clue, or this is the contextual part that I was asking you to refer to when a blank is given. Now, when they're talking of homemade drafts, it is a very normal thing to them being of a smaller size or of a size which is um, made by a person, by a single person or one or two people. Whereas if had it been an industrially made or a factory made product, it would have been larger in size with more capacity and things like that. So what fits there best would be the second word, the last word, that is petty. All right, petty means small. Now here in this case, how I can eliminate uh, unsightly and few is because when they're talking of mostly gone, I cannot have few and then them being mostly gone, right? And unsightly, nowhere is it talking of the rafts being in a very pathetic condition or being in a very dilapidated manner. Had that been the case, then yes, the word unsightly could have suited better. All right. So the answer that suits the best in out of the four is flagrantly and petty. So basically, it is easy to come to this, and the long and the short of it is that there are certain things that we need to pay attention to while we are doing these fill in the blank questions. The first one is that we do not get waylaid by just the vocabulary. All right. What happens is many a times we are not able to zero in to a particular option. The reason being that our vocabulary is not well developed. I would like you guys to take up this time that you have at your hands and you utilize it to in vocabulary building. All right. So quickly just understand, let's quickly go through it. The first one says that do not read the options. Yes, do not read the options ever, because what works best is if you are able to form a shadow word of your own. What happens is when you form a shadow word of your own while you are reading the blank, it may be in your mother tongue, it may be in easier English, it may be in a language that only you can understand. But what is important is that once you are able to form that shadow word, your options are automatically shortlisted. All right. And then you know that what you have to pick to fit in the blank rather than the other way around. Like it says in the second one, it says try and eliminate options rather than choosing the options. Please remember that the options are going to be very closely related to each other, and every option that you read is going to almost fit into the blank. So be smart. Do not wonder as to even this fits and even this fits. What you can do is you can work it the other way around and try and eliminate options so that the shortlisting is done and you're able to come to the right conclusive answer. The next one is pay attention to grammar. Yes, very important. You need to remember your Bani wore a cap. The point after that is understand the context. Yes, like we discussed earlier, whether a positive word fits there, whether a negative word fits there, or is there a particular jargon that is being followed in the entire theme of the sentence that you have to use there. Okay. Identify the indicators. This was done while we were doing rearrangement of sentences also. Like I told you, the sentence itself will be your clue giving area. So what happens is that when you are reading that sentence, it is going to give you particular clues. Maybe there are certain words, maybe there is a but and, or maybe like we discussed in the last sentence, homemade rafts, which was talking of the rafts being in a small amount or a smaller number maybe. That's what is being talked of, and that is what is the indicator that we are talking of here. All right. So basically, it is an easy thing that we can always try and attempt and score marks in. All right. So I would really like to have another, like you to have another go at the fill in the blank questions once you have gone through this video. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.